Russian missiles strike the Ukrainian capital for the first time in more than a month. Russian missiles strike the Ukrainian capital for the first time in more than a month. In Bangladesh, an explosion and fire at a storage depot kill at least 49 people. More UK travel disruption as flight cancellations affect some of those returning from half-term breaks. And a century from Joe Root sees England win the first test against New Zealand at Lord's.
Aberfan in Wales.
Gibraltar!
A carnival parade and picnic brought the weekend's festivities to a close in Edinburgh. And in Killyleagh in Northern Ireland, the dancers entertained those attending a summer barbecue. Celebrations as diverse as the country the Queen represents. Navtej Johal, BBC News.
That's it from me for now, but I'll be back with more from the celebrations here at Buckingham Palace a little later in the programme. Michal.
Rita, thank you very much. We will see you then. In other news today, Russia's President Putin has said new targets in Ukraine will be hit if Western countries supply the country with longer-range missiles. He was speaking as the Ukrainian capital Kyiv came under Russian missile attack for the first time since the end of April, with several locations in the city struck. Our Ukraine correspondent Joe Inwood sent this report.
Multiple blasts shattering the peace of Sunday morning in Kyiv. For the first time in more than a month, Ukraine's capital came under fire. Now, this is one of two sites that was hit by Russian missiles in the early hours of this morning. The Russians say they were targeting T-72 tanks donated by Eastern European countries. But Ukrainians say this was actually a railway repair facility, and they're quite keen to show the world's media that that's what the Russians were hitting. In his nightly address, delivered before this morning's strikes, President Zelensky described the scale of the attacks from above.
As of this morning, the total number of various Russian missiles used against Ukraine is 2,503.
Much of the damage to Ukraine has happened in the east of the country, the area known as the Donbas. In the town of Soledar, not far from the front, people there were also dealing with the aftermath of a missile strike. One man blamed the proximity of Ukrainian soldiers to his house. They need to withdraw the troops away from the city, Vitaly said, because if they are standing here, the Russians will hit civilians. Those troops are nearby defending their territory. The city of Severodonetsk is the current focus of Russia's offensive. It had been thought the city was all but lost to the Ukrainians. But then, over the last 24 hours, they say they have launched a successful counterattack.
Our chances of retaking the city are high. Severodonetsk is of symbolic importance only, not militarily or strategic. Lysychansk is much more important because it is located on the hill. It is easier for the military to defend and strike.
All the while, the Donbas continues to empty. People in towns like Slovyansk know that as long as Russia is on their doorstep, they will not be safe if they stay. Joe Inwood, BBC News, Kyiv.